3 days on from their small community's darkest days, some residents of Dauphin, Manitoba are turning to their faith today to try and process an enormous tragedy, reaching out to their religious community for comfort and spiritual guidance.
So we're praying for all the individuals involved in the accident, but for the whole community, since we are all being affected by this in one way or another.
Prayers and moments of silence are taking place to remember the 15 killed and 10 injured from a minibus that collided with a truck on a highway on Thursday. The fact it's Father's Day is adding another layer of difficulty and heartache. We know from police that there were 6 men on the minibus, 2 of whom were killed. The CBC's Cameron McIntosh is in Dauphin. He joins us now. So Cam, a lot of raw pain there. How is the community coping with it today?
Well, it really is a quiet Father's Day Sunday here in Dauphin, and as we saw, there are people going to church services today. There aren't specific services here in the community as a result of the accident. Frankly, it's too soon for that. This is a community that's really kind of somewhere right now between shock and grief. But what we are seeing in people, regular churchgoers, going to church and talking about this and having questions, and that's what the faith leaders of this community are really being confronted with right now. We've spoken to a few different ministers in this community. I spoke with Father Michael No with a Catholic Church here earlier this morning, and basically he says right now the job for the faith leaders of this community and the community in general is to really sit and listen. Here's more of what he had to say.
The feelings, the tears, they're not signs of weakness. Not at all. Quite the opposite. They're signs of love and that we share a common humanity. Even though we didn't necessarily know everybody in the accident, we're all sharing the experience as a community, as a people, and others are doing so with us too. It's normal.
So speaking with Father No, he told me that he's taken some calls, and he expects to be speaking to people today, and he expects to get calls maybe a week, 2 weeks, even longer into the future. Over time, different people grieve in different ways, and he's saying that the community really has to endorse that and embrace that.
And getting through that phase of shock as well, of course, Cam. As all of that is happening, the police investigation is continuing as well. So what sort of updates, what sort of developments might we expect this week?
Well, it could be a long time before we hear anything from the police definitively on exactly, it's fairly clear what happened, but why it happened is not clear, and those answers could take a while. We do have an update from Shared Health Manitoba. 10 people who survived are still in the hospital, 6 remain in critical care. As for the community itself here, what may be done, those plans will probably be made sometime in the early week into the midweek. We've spoken to some faith leaders, we've spoken to political leaders here, and they want to take the lead from the family, but here's the thing. In terms of planning vigils and funerals, the victims here haven't even been officially named yet. The police they know who has passed away here. The community knows who's passed away here. They haven't been able to individually identify the remains of each person. So if you're a family that's planning a funeral, it could be a while for that process to come through to even have the remains to do that. So that's the process here, and that's why this is going to take a while. And basically Dauphin says it's going to do things in its own time and take its lead from the families when they're ready.
Cam, thank you for this. CBC's Cameron McIntosh for us in Dauphin, Manitoba. And if you're a family member in need of support in Dauphin, you can call the number on your screen, 1-204-647-5058.